Now let's see if it wakes up and catches onto this one. It's coming. Boom. I've got to make some more changes. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
All right. Glad to see y'all here. Holly's back. If you haven't noticed yet, she's here in all of her
Well, you're back too.
Holly glory. Yes, and I'm
You
back.
haven't been doing
also.
the show behind my back, have you?
You know.
And tomorrow is his big fat birthday, a big one.
Yeah. Emphasis on the fat.
Jared is celebrating the birthday show of Jared and
turning 50 tomorrow.
50.
Anyways, everyone, hope everyone's been having a good couple weeks. We haven't been on. We took off for Thanksgiving, and then last week extended that Thanksgiving off. I wanted to go watch my niece play violin in her orchestra. You hear that? Hear that pop?
You hear that? It's going to smell so good.
Yes, it is.
Is that like black tar Guinness?
Well, it's just Guinness. It's not black tar.
All right.
Well, you have to chew it a little bit.
Welcome to the show, guys. Do you want to do the intro?
Yes, let's throw the intro on, and then we will. Humana.
Live from Utah's Wasatch Front, the pulse of the Mountain West, where the issues that shape your life meet the truth that sets you free. Across Utah, across the Republic, and around the world, welcome. This is KMMU.
All right.
Big thanks to KMMU for that introduction and for their support on this. Please check out their website at KMMU, and YouTube channel too, where we've got a number, Main Street Media still on Main Street Media, a number of podcasters are on there.
Main Street Media, Utah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Check them out and check out our fellow podcasters who are building something here in Utah about truth and about community and mainly education. We want people to have the information. And so check them out, give them a listen, and, go subscribe to their page. Be a subscriber early on and get a notification button. So
there's going to be a lot of stuff coming to their page. A lot of the shows are going to move on to there. There's going to be a lot of, I guess it'll be like a behind the wall thing. Not sure how that's going to work exactly yet, but
I picture it kind of like the Blaze, where they're getting conservative voices into one location. And I mean, it's exciting. The vision is there. The investors are there. It's just people committed to this, and we are happy to be a part of it.
Yeah,
we hope you'll give it
maturing, if you will, fermenting nicely. But so today we've got some stuff to talk about. Like Holly is grinding out an initiative right now.
Not just me. The state of Utah, the state party.
Of Utah is, but Holly, as your local Republican chair, she has an initiative she has going and gathering signatures. So I'm going to let Holly take it away and explain it to you guys. And if you guys want to sign up, help her out, or find her out gathering signatures, she'll tell you how.
Yeah, you can reach out to this page if you're interested in signing this initiative. It is to change Prop 4. I don't know how many of you remember, the vote on Prop 4 was years ago, and it passed by such a small margin of voters. And mind you, registered voters, which will take down more people. So you have a small group of people, and it had a lot of outside money coming in to fund this proposition. Now, the point of it was to create an independent committee that would oversee our redistricting, As a state, we redistrict every 10 years with the census, and it's a big deal. A committee is formed through legislation. They are all legislators. They do a 29 county in Utah. They do 29 county visits, and it's like truth in taxation only. I mean, they're taking maps and suggested maps from the people, and they are considering the maps. Now, an independent council was also created and also submitted maps. Now, what's happened is the legislatures chose a map based on that idea, and then they were sued over it. So our Constitution is required in Utah that our legislature is who chooses our district maps. They're elected, therefore they can be fired at the ballot box. Well, what's happened is a judge has come through and made a decision to select a map, mind you, a map that wasn't even presented by the independent committee.
Yeah, the judge kind of pulled one out of the Protestant file.
Somebody got to her. Now, mind you, judge's job isn't to create laws, folks.
What?
And judges are not supposed to, they're supposed to rule constitutionally.
Do the Democrat judges know this?
No.
Oh, okay.
So this initiative is not about Republican, Democrat, Independent. This initiative and what we're getting signatures for is to get our legislature the power that the Constitution instills in them to choose our district maps. Now, what the map that this judge chose it's crazy. They're putting one small blue dot in the middle in Salt Lake City in the state. They're dividing up our congressional districts. So, I mean, Tooele County, which is a lot different than Salt Lake County, they've put us in with Salt Lake City. They've cut half of the rural part of our county out. So it's just a crazy map. We've talked about it in past shows. Representative Nicolene Peck has been at the forefront of this. A special session has been called by legislature to go over this. People have been reaching out to legislature because they're the only ones who can remove this judge. And constitutionally, they're the only ones who get to choose the districting map in this state. Now, if people want to change the Constitution, that's great. But for a judge to go in and say, yeah, I've made this decision and you're going to take this map that the legislature didn't choose that map.
Well, did the judge have like a brief that she wrote with it saying, this map, I selected this map out of a separate batch because it met what I read in this constitutional.
I'm sure she did.
Did she?
This has been a whirlwind. And she waited till the very last minute to make the ruling, which was very hard, being that we're wrapping into 2025's
I know, that's crazy.
End.
It sounds like she did that so there wasn't time to fight it.
It sounds that way because it was that way. Now, I don't know her intent, and I don't want to question her intent on that.
But I will.
But I know that as a group of people, we need to get this revised and fixed, because you guys, it's happening to Republicans or conservatives in this situation. But when we start allowing this and setting a precedent for judges, it can happen in the other side too. Mind you, it always does.
So
once you set precedent, it will always come back to get you.
Where can people find signature packets to sign? We've
got 3 gatherers right now that got party packets. We also got independent gatherers. You're going to have people knocking on your doors and they can explain what's going on. They have the petition with them, or they also have the initiative that they're repealing Prop 4. Now, ask questions if you have them. I ask you give them grace. If you disagree, have them leave with kindness. We're seeing a lot of people spreading misinformation online about this. I'm not surprised, right? However, big picture item, we're prepared to fight this, and we want to fight this regardless if our legislature decides to vote and end it. We want to fight this on behalf of all voices in Utah, that judges aren't going to take your voice, your vote, and we just need to make sure we stay a republic. And the representatives that we elect need to represent us. And if that gets taken away, just that one little niche part of all of this, if that gets taken away, we no longer are one. We
Well,
are California.
Another thing it will do is it's going to make it so that we'll have to hold some kind of special election, like real fast. It'll be another bit of chaos, which means the Democrats will have to as well. Now,
the Democrats are ready. They're loaded for bear to take that Salt Lake seat.
Yeah, well, looking at it, the Democrats probably think in their mind they're poised to win. And what it does is the map that the judge drew up just essentially isolates Salt Lake by itself, and then everyone else gets broken up. So they're thinking it's going to guarantee a Democrat seat. Pretty much what she did is she said, where did they vote for Mendenhall? Is that her name?
The Salt Lake mayor?
Yeah. Yeah. Where did Mendenhall win? And that's where we're going to draw the borders. I think to guarantee at least one Democrat offering from Utah at any given time, just to, maybe they think it'll, what they want to do is the Democrats have been working to outweigh Republicans congressionally by seats, which is why they have this huge push for illegal immigration. I don't care what anyone says. It's not about charity. It's not for you Democrats on the ground. It might be, but believe me, you're just the idiot pawns in the larger game that they have, that they want to gather that power to themselves, which, don't get me wrong, the Republicans seek power of their own at all times. All political entities do and will. It's just whether you're going to go about it in the clear or whether you're going to do it in the shadows. Where
I think Republicans did it for businesses. As you know, a lot of businesses hire people who are not meant to be here, and that's benefited them. And I think just putting a kibosh on totally all of it, which we're going to get into, but reach out to me, private messages on this page, Tooele County Republican Party, private messages there. And we are going to be trying to put up an event soon. I know the holidays are tough and a lot of you guys are so busy. Everyone is so busy. We'd like to put together an event where we can get as many signatures as possible and invite you to come and sign. Mind you, I would like you to play the Rob.
Yeah.
Our state party chair, Rob Axon, has commented on this very subject.
Let's read what Jeff Adamson says here. The problem with the way our legislators attempting to change things is they want to reaffirm only they in parentheses, have the power to draw the maps, but then throw in lowering the number of signatures to meet eligibility, extending the gathering time, and move back the application time. Are you talking about when someone proffers their name to run? I think as an outsider, I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat. So as an outsider, I think the caucus system serves the parties well. Although
he's talking about future initiatives.
Although he's talking about initiatives on the ballot.
I think so. But then again, eligibility, I would love you to explain, Jeff, because right now the special session, we're only getting bits and pieces right now. At least I am. I haven't watched all the session. We will play with Nicolene Peck's discussion at the session. We want our legislators to serve us and represent us properly. At the end of the day, that is the most important thing, at least for me and what we're doing with the party here. That and the state party as well.
Completely.
We also think that there has to be a way for us to fight back against judges. And now judges are appointed. You can't fire them. The legislature can. And should they? Should a judge be allowed to do this from the bench? I mean, to me, that's where it all boils down to.
Well, that's akin to gaining a monarchy, at least maybe even just a petty monarch, but a monarchy.
I mean, if they want to change the Constitution, if they want to change all of this, at least we can fire the people doing this.
Yeah.
And run against them if you I mean, I would love to see a lot of competition in races all across the board. I don't think we should just assume, that our party is leading. We need to make sure that they are, and getting good people to run is key to that.
Mm. So you want me to play Rob Axum on this?
Rob Axon is our state party
he
chair.
Was on it looks like Channel 2 News podcast. Hold on, let me get this to go all the way back to the beginning, and we will play it. Let me share it while we play it, because I am magnanimous like that. Not that one. This one. Okay.
And Article 9, Section 1 of the state constitution lays out specifically that the legislature has the role in drafting those maps. So what's happened here is she rejected the map that was provided by the legislature. Whether people agreed with it or not, it at least went through that process. And frankly, the legislature, they went through that process under duress at her rulings and demands. So by rejecting a map that went through the legislature, she picked a map that did not. So it ignores Article 9, Section 1 of the Utah State Constitution. What's interesting is if you're looking in this hearing and this whole court case dealing with the proposition for Independent Redistricting Commission, right? She didn't even pick maps from the commission. She picked maps from a nonprofit.
All right. We do have to break in and talk. That way we avoid getting any
strikes.
Channel 2 podcast to come after us for whatever. But so it sounds like the judge reached into a nonprofit's
NGO
and pulled it from them. Yeah.
So the question is, what right under our state constitution does an individual, does a nonprofit, does an NGO have to draft maps when it is very clearly a role that is given to the legislature, people who are accountable to each and every one of us as Utahns? We can hire and fire and hold accountable those folks. I have no ability to hold accountable an NGO that somehow got their map passed and implemented into law.
Okay. I will say this on the outset. If it does come out that the judge broke the Constitution, I would at least seek for some kind of censure and make her reverse her ruling. And if she does not, then I would fight for an impeachment.
We're fighting on all fronts, right? It's not only this initiative to get signatures to remove the Prop 4. That's important. But also, we're appealing her decision and prepared to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. Now, on the other end, we are communicating with our legislatures, and we hope all of you are as well. And just call them and ask them about this situation, regardless of what party they're from, get their perspective. And then if a Democrat legislator, call or at least research what the Republican side is. Because what we want to do is make sure this issue is important. It's obviously important. The governor called this special session. This is going to be discussed and is being discussed. And especially right before Christmas. I don't like things to go under the rug. I want this to be fully transparent so that everyone is paying attention. And I'm grateful that Tooele County is covered with our representation and they're keeping us updated. I want you all to be updated by yours as well.
I want to appeal to the Democrats a little bit. Again, remember, any power you claw into existence now will be handed over in the future. Do you want to see Republicans then, in order to fight this petty corruption, start saying, okay, we've got to get every crazy ass conservative judge in there. And next thing you know, they're doing that just so that they can have this little bit of power. And then those conservative judges start making other rulings.
You vote for it now. You just make sure it's going to be used against you.
You know what? I mean,
we tell this to Republicans all the time.
Seriously. Jeff says, I only agree with them about drawing maps, nothing about signatures. Okay.
And you say impeach and make an example of her. If you're talking about gathering signatures, Jeff, are you referring to initiatives or are you referring to SB 54. Could you clarify? Because I think we're both thinking it's something different.
Well, yeah,
And
I
thank
think
you
we
for
could
your
use your boiling
comments.
down. Yeah, for sure. And we definitely enjoy putting your comments out there. I think everyone should have a voice in this, including the Democrats. I just think the Democrats have for far too long, I should say the progressives have for far too long just gathered win after win after win in ridiculous terms. And now that's coming back to bite them. They are in retreat. I mean, you've got all of your progressive governors now that have ambitions for future winnings are now saying, oh no, I was never with X. I was never with Y. I always spoke out about the problems with Z. They never did. Right now, that lizard out in California, he comes down off his sunbathing rock and he's like, well, I always thought they went too far with that transgenders and girl sports things. I agree with you there. That wasn't his position
Never.
2 years ago. That's his position now because they got swept.
Eric Swalwell is running for governor and is literally doing that exact same thing.
100%.
And I don't know how you sit and listen to him and take any credence of what he
He's probably
says.
saying
The man was honeypotted.
you shouldn't sleep with Chinese spies. Really, that's a bad thing to do as a.
How did people forget that he shared secrets,
He probably-
national secrets with Chinese spies?
He probably says you shouldn't fart on live TV either. But anyways, that's still my favorite video
And
ever.
he's agreeing with people about the transgender. We'll protect women. Will you?
What's up, Jordan? Good to see you. Jordan says, yo, Jared and Holly, great to see you guys. Hello, Holly. Jordan,
Hi, Jordan.
how did things go with the job interview? With the job, did you get the job? He was up for a job at Burlington. And we're pulling for him real hard.
I love Burlington. I don't know though. People who work there, they're angels because it's
I don't
chaos
know
at
what
Christmas.
Burlington is.
Well, if he's talking about the store,
What is it?
it's a grand store that sells name brands. It's like a TJ Maxx.
I know that I fixed a TJ Maxx door. I don't know what TJ Maxx is.
For you people out there that know, we know.
I did buy a pair of pants there, and they turned out to be skinny jeans. So I'm wearing them, and I want to
Where are they at?
Katie.
I want to check your fit.
Dude, they are freaking tight. You
Nothing
can
in
see
the imagination.
You can see the veins in my calves through those bad boys.
I want pictures or it didn't happen.
I was like, wow. But anyhow, I'll wear them one time. He'll get to see me, and it looks like I'm smuggling grapes.
That's so funny. I love that for you.
But yeah, so that's where we are on that. So if you guys want signatures, who do they contact? Where do they go to find you guys?
I want them to reach out. I want them to reach out to Willa County Republican Party and send a message.
Or do you guys have any tables set up anywhere?
We don't have tables right now. We're having people not going door to door.
Door to door. Okay.
Would like to set up. We thought we were going to have people at the grand opening of Smith's. However, we don't want to just assume, and we're trying to get permission. Smith's did a grand opening this last Saturday. That was quite exceptional. Congratulations, Smiths, for coming to Twilla.
Jeff laid it out. Jeff is talking about SB 54. So he's talking about elections, about people getting on the ballot. Yes, Jeff, I agree.
We are so on the same page. Here's what's going on with SB 54 in my view. Our House representatives have tried to bring it to the floor. Our Senate doesn't want to touch it. Take that as you will. They don't want to touch it. I hate that. I want to see it changed and reversed. I want to see it retroactively changed as well before we hit this next election cycle. I believe in the caucus convention system.
It is wild when you see the caucus and the general election not even reflect each other.
And that has to be considered as well.
That's insane. And I think SB 54 allows something like that.
It does.
Where a caucus system means the people in the caucus, they may get through on a radical or something that opposes the general populace once or twice, but after that, the general populace starts taking into account, and then they start showing up to caucus. They start showing up and volunteering. They start showing up and throwing their names in the hat.
I would hope. And I'll tell you this.
Nice.
the general population or the SB 54 and the signatures, I don't discount anyone that signs a candidate's petition. That means they trust this person, they believe in it. Usually, what I don't like is these mass companies coming in and gathering signatures for a price or for an hourly, and they never understand what they're even signing. We do have a part of our group in this community or any community that will sign it if the person they're talking to, treats them a certain way or whatever.
Or just composes a message that
Gives
sells them
the
that,
talking points.
I mean, everyone's been to one of those meetings to get a free dinner and then they walk away with a timeshare. Those guys know what they're doing.
Don't they ever? And here's the thing, though. Those people count. However, the people who are at caucus and then end up being delegates, and then they've got a certain amount of time where candidates are sitting at the table with them and trying to earn their vote face to face. The campaigning is not about money. It's about time, which is such a valuable part of caucus convention, is that one-on-one, I need your trust, I need your vote. And it may take 3 times that they sit down or call or they're part of this with the delegates. So that is where delegates are coming from. When money comes into it, where they're paying to get their signatures gathered, they're sending out gifts to the delegates. They've got this giant booth at convention and they're giving away all this free stuff. And they've got commercials running all the time. And once they know they're going on the ballot, so they start their commercials right after convention and they're headed to a primary. And the thing is money talks. And we wanted to keep money out of elections, which is what the caucus convention system was meant to do. SB 54 keeps money front and center in the elections, and I've seen it be used for good and for bad. So when people say the convention doesn't match what the primary, we've seen that firsthand this last election year.
The last one was wild. It didn't. Locally it didn't. It still matched pretty well when it came to the presidential election and things like that. But when it came to state reps,
the governor
and
the Senate,
the governor and
the AG's
Senate,
office,
it was far and away. And it left. Here's what it did: is it left all these. Granted, the caucus was full of radicals at the time because people who felt endangered nationally all went to caucus and signed up to be delegates to.
I wouldn't call them radicals.
They would probably call themselves radicals. They felt in danger. So these people who normally wouldn't sign up, signed up.
Persuaded by Biden.
And Biden and the inability of our Congress to do anything, which that hasn't changed. And that's not going to change. You guys need to understand that FDR shut down our Congress. And unless we start, I think honestly, for like 10 years, we need to do no incumbents, just across the board, no incumbents, get in there and let Congress and the Senate feel like it's such a temporary job that you're going in there for 2 years and then you're out. And then they'll start. I think that it would cause a reset. I think so. But
I think it would make it slow as Christmas.
Sure. Make it slow.
First,
but
right?
They're not doing anything now. Nothing. Our Congress rates up there with like gonorrhea on popularity.
Oh, yeah. They always kind of have
but
in my lifetime.
That was during FDR. When FDR shut him down, he made it so Congress didn't run the government anymore. It became an executive ran government. And we've been an executive ran government since.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. We have a problem in DC.
So I think if we start just let him go, bring him back home. You could let him go again in 2 years, but let him go, bring him back home. Just keep pulling them out.
Yeah.
And get them to reset to where they've got nothing to lose. They'll go in there firebrand. We'll have firebrands on both sides. It'll get wild and crazy. And I'll sit back and enjoy the show.
I don't know. Some electeds are kind of like a warm blankie for people. Some incumbents to where they feel like they know that incumbent. They know how they're going to vote. They know what they believe. And then they feel right having that blankie instead of taking a risk and letting someone new come in. Hey, but I understand the sentiment.
But keep doing it. It's working out well so far.
Yeah, it's
so Jordan, I apologize. Jordan says, we need to hold the corrupt judges accountable. All lawyers want to be judges eventually. It's all about power to them. My job interview was well. The store looked so awesome. Okay.
Congrats.
Dude, I hope you get it, man. I really do. In the 2024 election, I gathered signatures for a candidate. You need like 1,000 signatures to be on the ballot. It's interesting.
Yeah. And, candidates like that are usually county elected candidates. When you get into like the governor's race, they have to do statewide, and the number of required signatures is exceptionally higher. And in our county, for example, for those gathering signatures, the Republican Party has the least amount to gather, even though we have solid red seats. Oh, thank you. And they have the least amount. We have less registered Republicans in this county than the Democrats do or the independents do. So it's based on the registered voters, on how many signatures
so it's a
these candidates
percentage
have to get.
per capita that must be gathered.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have lots to talk about today.
Did you want to play Nicolene's thing or no? I don't know how long it is.
We could. Is it on our Facebook as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will find it. You don't know how long it is? Is this
Let
it
me
right
check
here?
really fast.
Nicolene, this me speaking.
It's 3 minutes.
Okay. This is ran by the legislature, so probably just play this on through. If we hear something interesting, we will bring it.
We could play it at double speed.
Yeah, maybe we could play it at double speed. I've got to see if I'm able to do that here. I don't know if I am. Anyways, let's just see how it goes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this bill. There is some really great wording in this bill.
What bill is she talking about?
The super law doctrine.
Super law doctrine. What do we know about that? Does anyone have?
That's where they're giving the judges the right to supersede the legislature with this. We can continue. She'll probably get into it.
So is this a bill where they're taking the judges' rights away?
Well, they're handling this situation or discussing it here in special session to try to make some rules that are going to guide them in this. Super laws
guide the judges?
Nope, guide them, because they've lost their power to this judge.
Yeah.
And the power is constitutionally theirs, meaning yours, not a judge, not an appointed person.
An elected
it's your
person.
Representative.
Bill that I feel like is something that absolutely needs to be said. But before I get to that, my colleague from Salt Lake County mentioned before that it's the judge's job to reason, and that's what we go to our judges for. And the word reason means to think and to problem solve. And this goes back to the teaching that the person has had in order to be able to do that reasoning. And so I'd like to play on words there just a little bit and say, what was her reason? Why was it that she decided to make the decision that she made in this particular case? And it was stated by my colleague from Salt Lake County that her reason was because it was done in other states. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with us taking our information, our learning, and teaching from other states when we already have a state constitution that already informs us and our judges so that they can do their reasoning. Now, my support of this resolution really has less to do about the judges in the state and more to do about the teaching that is happening because of this movement in the state and where it is coming from. So in the resolution it says, starting on lines 38 to 41, if you'll indulge me, whereas the super law doctrine, which means a general sense of whatever's taught or a position that's taken Okay, so this is something that's taught or professed. The super law doctrine contradicts over a century of Utah constitutional interpretation and, if unchecked, threatens the foundation of representative democracy by allowing courts to elevate ordinary statutes and personal preferences of unelected judges above the authority of the people's elected legislators. The doctrine of our state is inherent in our founding documents. And I really honor those documents, especially because my direct ancestor, John Henry Smith, was the president of the Utah Constitution Convention. And I do believe that now is a good time for us to push off this doctrine of super laws that is coming from other states, such as California, and pray for our state, as another representative has suggested.
Bill, Representative Peck.
Okay.
Nicolene is a great friend of the show, and she represents the Tooele district. And all of our reps are up there, of course. Both of our reps are up there. Bridger Bollender is also a great friend. And I mean, this is a lot going on. Our state party is up there. They're working late into the night. And so this is very important. A lot of people don't realize what it's about. And to be honest, it's about a fight for your voice. And if someone tells you differently, the one thing I would have you ask them, is it okay that a judge took a nonprofit's map, which wasn't part of even Prop 4, and told your representatives that they have to use that, when in our Constitution it does not allow that? I mean, is that okay with you? And is it okay if next time it's anti-trans, anti-immigration from a conservative judge who has a nonprofit come in and say, no more Planned Parenthood in
What
Utah?
if we get a judge in there that says, not just we're a right to work state where unions don't carry the legal precedents they do in other non-right to work states, but what if they outlaw unions altogether? I mean, you got to think this is something that could,
this could be bad.
it could cascade into ugly places. So,
And when it sets a
you
precedent like
lefties,
this,
you need to,
it definitely will.
you need to drink this in. You got to fight above board, because if you don't, you change the rules of the battlefield. Next thing you know, mustard gas is rolling across the trenches. So,
We're looking for gatherers. If any of you would like to gather signatures, it does require, I believe each packet is 50 signatures, and you must witness every single one of them and be totally above board on the requirements. It just has to be you just have to be a registered voter to sign a packet. And it's very...
yeah. And if you're going to sign up to carry a packet, remember it's something that you have to personally gather signatures. You have to maintain control of it. It's not like you can hand it off to your wife for her to take to the, down to the law office and hand around. You must be the person to witness the gathering of signatures. They're very strict about that. And as we know, even a Republican lieutenant governor will throw lots of signatures out if she feels like
these signatures are going to be done by our county clerk and the other counties that they're turned in by. So you have like 20 days from the time you start the packet, which makes me feel 1,000% on this, because I trust our county clerk. But she
does.
Phenomenal.
Our county clerk is a stud. She is definitely a stud. Jordan says, I saw Zootopia 2, the movie, with my nieces and nephews.
I want
It
to
was
see
a
it
great
so
movie.
bad.
Yo, Jared, you should go see the new SpongeBob movie. It looks so entertaining. Okay. My kid is 31 years old.
That's SpongeBob era. For sure.
I have not seen a cartoon all the way through. I've seen them playing on TVs when I go over to my siblings' houses who still have younger kids and grandkids. Those lucky people. And so I've seen like 10 minutes of Mona and a few minutes of something else.
Bluey.
What?
Bluey, the little
Bluey. No,
dog in Australia.
Bluey. Okay, that's that little dog, right?
Yeah.
I do see Bluey because, for those of you that don't know, I have a 4-pound dog who is very particular.
You spoil that.
When
dog.
we prepare her food, we take a little tab of butter and put in there with it, and then we microwave it for 11 seconds. That's the only way she'll eat it. It's a thing.
Any dog lover out there absolutely knows what you're talking about.
She is
You have to make it special, or
the
they think they're getting
spoiledest
slop.
little dog ever. But when we leave, we turn a TV on for her. And we used to go to Bluey because someone once told me that Bluey is more entertaining for dogs.
It's more entertaining for adults.
I don't know. I've never seen it. But they say it's more entertaining for dogs because it's in colors that dogs see, someone said. But it really didn't matter. So now we just kind of turn on, is it Nickelodeon or something? Whatever's on the Samsung Live TV cartoon channel. And we just turn that on and leave that on for her to.
Well, I have a confession. I love cartoons. I watch cartoons every couple of days. I have since I was a child, and if I went to go see Zootopia, I would drag my kids along. I mean, they may want to see it, but I would go see it just because I love Zootopia.
Have you heard of what's it called? There's a lady, she's like a congresswoman or senator from Australia that does a cartoon explaining governance. She's a conservative.
I haven't.
And it's called Please Explain. And she's making a movie, but it is freaking hilarious. She lays waste to the ridiculous left, and it is fantastic. But yeah, it's called Please Explain. It's a cartoon that's made by an Australian, what do they call them down there? Australian
Kangaroo?
I don't know, white wig wear. I don't know what they are.
Parliament?
Yeah, parliamentarian something. But she does it. She got censured a couple days ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago in the Australian Parliament because what did she bring up? I can't remember. But Australia has different problems than ours. Their left is ridiculous and crazy and builds concentration camps for, a disease,
COVID.
which is something I want to talk about tonight. But builds concentration camps for a disease. But in the early 2000s, they had a parliamentarian who bit the bullet and changed their immigration laws so they don't have the same issues the rest of the world is facing when it comes to immigration. And everyone calls them brutal for it, but I would argue that it kind of works. I mean, tell me, how's Australia doing on its grooming gangs? How's Australia doing on its terrorist attacks? How's Australia doing on that? I mean, what was it? Just a week ago, we had an Afghani arrested in California for making terroristic threats.
We had someone shot right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we have all this stuff all the time. And forget about England. England has like 2 terrorist attacks a month.
Did you see what the EU just ruled with protesters outside? That any EU country has to accept at least 30,000 immigrants into their country and provide for them. This is like a bad joke.
Pay that jizya.
While this France and England and
that is a place that has
Germany,
given up a museum to the greatness of civilization. That is what Europe is, and that's what Europe will be. That's all they are anymore.
We need to get into that immigration.
I also want to mention. Okay, I heard something twice in the last 2 weeks. One time was on the Trigonometry podcast. The first time, I can't remember where it was, but they were talking about why China, even with all of its demographic problems and everything else, still seems to be blazing ahead. And they mentioned this. They said, our nation is ran by lawyers. So all they do is regulate, which stifles growth and productivity. Their nation is ran by civil engineers, which to them no problem cannot be solved with construction. So
And authoritarianism.
yeah, sure. But you look at it, China says, we don't have enough power. Build something. We say we don't have enough power. In 20 years, you might get through the regulations in order to build something. That's a big difference. And we are going to die on the vine because of that. No, I promise.
Steve Jobs went into it in his book about creating Apple and going to China with it. He could do more. He could get his product built and planned. He could do more in a week with China than he could do in the United States for 3 years.
You watch, your kids are going to watch China, or they're going to watch someone else spearhead ahead of us. They're going to
Saudi Arabia, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe Saudi Arabia has to branch into a different market. Oil is not their market. They've sucked themselves dry.
What about United States sports?
Maybe, but we're going into comedy shows.
Media.
We might see cool stuff come out of there, but they're going to watch Thucydides' trap. They are going to live through it. We may not, but they will. Jordan. So yeah, back to the cartoon. What I do want to see is the new Predator movie.
Oh, that's my husband too.
I want to watch that because I've been a big fan forever. Yes, they've let me down a few times and some of their stories are goofy, but I still enjoy it. I enjoy it's
hard to beat that first one. That first
badassery.
Yeah.
You one ugly mother flower. Anyways, Jordan says it's so important to represent the district and serve the people in your district. I would definitely need to read that bill that the legislator says about COVID was a disaster for Americans. COVID was a disaster for the world. Yeah. I was telling my dad today, Fauci should be in prison for what he did. Yes, prison would be the
nice thing.
Before, I think Fauci would love a good swing set.
Hey, a recent test came out. Hi, Mom. Talking about cancers that are more prevalent in people with the vax, and it's heartbreaking. I don't know how many doctors signed on to this study. I just know that it was just published, and I should find it.
Right here. This is off Channel 2 News, local stuff, guys. FDA launches probe into potential COVID-19 vaccine linked to deaths.
Like motorcycle accidents?
No, they're looking at whether the vaccine caused deaths. This story was published December 10th, so that's today. That's fresh. I mean, you can smell the fresh paper off this one. So the Food and Drug Administration will be investigating whether COVID-19 vaccines are linked to deaths in adults as well as children after a leaked memo claimed the shots killed several kids. Andrew Nixon, a spokesman for the Department of Health and Human Services, confirmed to multiple outlets that there will be a thorough investigation across multiple age groups.
This makes me sick.
I still remember you see all the videos of high school soccer players out there running and then falling over or remember that HHS person that got the shot on stage
live TV
and went down right after. Now, granted, I think that was probably a shock effect from getting a shot, also being on live TV together. That was an extremely bad maneuver. But man, some people think I still think it was a grand conspiracy to rob us blind. It just was.
Okay, and we get into that because you take that into the NGO money, into the COVID dollars put into all the states, and then to the fraud that is tied to that through all the states. I'm sure it's not just the one state, even though that's what we should discuss. But this COVID dollars are coming up. Where's the money?
Oh, so much.
I mean,
so much.
So much waste, fraud, and abuse.
Let's roll right into it. So it came out that was it Minneapolis, Tim Walz state, got robbed of, how much did it get robbed? Like 80 million or something like that.
Oh, I think it's like 800 million.
Yeah. I should have had this pulled up. I'm sorry. Minnesota.
Now, Minnesota is one state, and Elon Musk warned during his time with
Oh.
Doge
Oh,
that this is potentially rampant, and the
Oh.
NGOs were, and AIDS was the funnel to which this fraud was allowed to happen. So we're looking at Minnesota right now because that's the greasy wheel.
okay. So a significant fraud scandal in Minnesota has involved over $1 billion in taxpayer funds, primarily linked to the Somali community, with allegations of money being misappropriated from programs intended to assist low family incomes and children during the COVID pandemic. It was for food and also autistic support. Now, I want to say this. I have no ill will towards Somalis, but they do come from a culture where corruption is the norm.
Yeah.
And they will come here and they will act in the norm. And that's what happens when you look, multiculturalism is great. And I know I got to say all the banner stuff and whatever, but this is what happens when cultures meet. When cultures meet, if a culture doesn't do this, that culture will be subverted by the culture that does. It's just a fact. There's no way around it. It's just a fact. And had our government pulled its head out of its fourth point of contact long enough to put up some guardrails, we could have alleviated this happening. But they didn't. They just threw it around. And then you go to those leftist states where his wife wanted to open the window to smell the cars burning during the riots. You flipping retard. He is a retard. He is the epitome of a retard. Anyways, so they put up no guardrails. And so Somalians, took what they could. Supposedly, it goes from as little as they robbed 1 billion to some of them robbed 1 billion and bought luxury mansions back in Somalia and over here. And there's even some reports that state that they funneled some of that money in to fund a little group called Boko Haram. Now, let's rewind, 10, 12 years. Do you guys remember Michelle Obama on a recording saying, "Send our girls home"? Do you remember that?
Absolutely. That was the hashtag that she was.
Remember that, lefties? That was your lady, right? You flipping idiots. That was your lady. And that was Boko Haram that went and kidnapped all the young girls from different villages, especially Christian villages and non-Muslim villages, and took them as pleasure slaves.
Wasn't that when our soldiers went over to take to take the head of the snake off in order to give the Somali people freedom, and then the Somalis turned on them?
No, that was not then. You're thinking of 1993.
Yeah.
That was a different time. That's
us involving removing a dictator.
That was under. Well, they'd gone into civil war. Backstory on Somalia. Somalia was kind of colonized by Italy, if I remember, and then Somalia, after Italy left at the end of colonization, kind of went to crap, and so they flirted with the communists and the capitalist countries, trying to ilk money out of both as much as they could, causing Somalia to drift into civil war. And then they went into civil war.
And America went in there.
War went on for a long time. A guy named Farah Adid, I believe was his name. I could be wrong. Double check me. He kind of took over. He was a warlord. And then we were sending food in because, that does great for the farmers. Farming died in Somalia at that time, just for you guys to know. Somalia had farmers, and then they died because, again, the altruism is the death of a nation. Please don't ever give me free stuff. And so they can't support themselves. The next thing you know, he starts robbing all of the food deliveries, and then we send the U.S. Marines over. His son was a Marine in the U.S. Marines at the time. So the Marines had a pretty easy time of it. He kept quiet while they were there. Then they swapped him out with another nation, and we sent in to take him off. We sent in special forces and ranger attachment to try to capture him, to bring him to justice. And that is where you get the book and then the movie Black Hawk Down, which were the last two medals of honor before the war on terrorism.
And now keep in mind that I think the moral of that story is the United States should stay out of countries that their culture is their own. These people, you can only do so much. And every time we seem to go into a third world type country, we just mess it up.
Well, remember that
And you're
Q-tip
not
head?
appreciated for what you're trying to do. And we leave blood in those countries. And for what?
Remember that Q-tip head that was running for a mayor position there in Somalia?
The pirate.
Yeah. I'm
the captain now.
I am the mayor now. Well, you know why he lost?
No.
Because this is the best only.
And he's like one of the only Democrats that lost in all these races.
Well, okay. So another Democrat won, but here's how it pans out. So the Jewish community gathered around and went and told all of the other Somalians. The Somalians voted against him. See, because in Somalia, they have different tribes and their tribal acceptance is more important than their geographical area that they're from. And he was from a tribe that wasn't that populous.
The Civil War again. These different people fighting against each other.
So that's why they have this culture of corruption where you have different tribes will get it over on other tribes, because that's something they do in Somalia. That's just something they've always done. It's historic. So he lost because a Jewish guy that was running and the Jewish community gathered together and said, hey, he's from this tribe. And we know most of you guys are from this other tribe. So all these Muslim Somalians voted for the Jewish guy.
Guys, this is why in America you have to acclimate. And this is like a culture that refuses to because they didn't have to.
It's not that they refuse to. They're too new to even acclimate.
Well, they don't have to. The government sent them in. And one lady was saying, well, first I was sent to Kansas. Did you see this? And Kansas was like boot camp for Minnesota because it's so cold. And it's like, well, you don't like it. Leave. Leave.
But
it's cold. We have winter here.
$1 billion of your taxpayer dollars went away. Some portion of it went back to Somalia to make new warlords, and some other portion of it hasn't been proven yet, may have went to a terrorist organization called Boko Haram, which means no Western education. That's what Boko Haram means.
Save our girls.
So, okay. William says, hi, Jared and Holly. Greetings from Ecuador. I hope you had a great time in Thanksgiving Day. Yes, I ate myself rotten. He says, Italy also colonized Eritrea, and until these days, you can find Italian influence in that country, for instance, in its buildings. Same with Somalia. What's left of Somalia has a heavy Italian influence in its buildings. Everyone that's gone over there says it's, would be a lovely place. It's just full of all this civil war and tribal strife.
I'm wondering what's going on with Italy these days. I mean, are they going to follow the EU? Because they seem to have buttoned down on
maybe. I don't know.
Immigration. And Trump said, I think today or yesterday, he said, why aren't we taking more immigration from European countries, Norway, Sweden? Well, why not? Why are we taking them from third world countries?
Why was the Democrats turning back Cubans?
But
because Cubans that leave Cuba are anti-communist.
America.
They're anti-communist, and the Democrats are not communists, but they like to Dutch rudder communists all the time. Those of you who don't know what a Dutch rudder is, don't ask me. I'm not going to break it down for you.
I think it's interesting. I think that Gavin Newsom's going to run for president, and I feel like this
I told
doofus is trying to be his VP.
How long ago? This doofus ain't touching.
But when he's talking about how masculine he is, I'm talking about Tim Waltz again, mind you,
I know.
who may be under investigation right now because for part of this fraud in his state.
Yeah, let's break that down. So they had watchdogs in the state government started saying, hey, we got to watch out for this. There's some stuff going on here. And Tim Walz and his cronies, but him particularly, shut the watchdogs down because that threatens their power, because their largest friendly voting bloc are the Somalis on the whole. Just like the Somalis,
racism, right?
The Somalis voted for the Muslim Somalis voted for a Jewish guy so that they wouldn't be giving power to their geographical enemy. Their enemy back home is this other cat, that other Q-tip head that wanted to be the mayor now. So they voted for someone because the enemy they know was more threatening to them than the enemy they were brought up with, I guess. I don't know. And so Tim Walz shut down. Tim Walz should honestly be tried and imprisoned for this.
Well, let's let the evidence come out, and
Whoa,
let's talk about Ilhan Omar. That's how I remember her name. Ilhan Omar, who, okay, she's a naturalized citizen because
she comes from that ruling party in Somalia.
Well, let's talk about how she became a naturalized citizen and why we've been talking about her for years and how she's lied on an application. She was married to her brother. Well,
she got smuggled over here by a family friend or an uncle.
No, I'm saying like when she started getting her citizenship, she got her brother over here by saying they were married.
I know.
I
wonder if they consummated
as
that.
Married
but
people.
The facts is
but you can't lie on your immigration report. You can't lie anywhere, or your naturalized citizenship can be revoked. That's in the Constitution. There are rules. And yes, you can revoke a naturalized citizen and deport them if they broke the law.
I hope they do. I would love to see them. I would love to see an honest account for elected officials. I would love to see it.
I'd love to see how life is for her in Somalia, where she is.
Well, she comes from a ruling family.
Maybe, but she's still a woman.
Well,
I mean, honestly, you guys, they're not going to. My favorite is the people who come over from a culture where they think women are property and dirt under their feet, and they come to our country and refuse to acclimate. And we're supposed to sit here and go,
I thought we were going a different direction.
This is totally fine. Our young girls, our women in our country can't walk down a street at night in Minnesota. That's fine.
I'm telling you.
Because we have to not say anything about their culture when they would ask how many American citizens are serving in government in Somalia. I'll wait. You do the math, carry the one. I'll wait. And then we have municipal races, and we have a congresswoman directly from there serving in a capacity in this country that affects thousands and thousands of people. And yet they're victims. I'm sorry. I have zero tolerance for this victim crap. They're not victims. These are women ruling over thousands of people that don't even respect them as women.
I thought you were going somewhere else when you were talking about women that have to sit down and shut up and barefoot in the kitchen or something.
No.
I thought you were going a different direction.
I'm talking about a culture. I mean, we talk about Mexican and Southern American immigrants. Their culture is a lot like America's culture.
Hey.
They're family oriented. They're Christians. They want a better life. And yeah, they jump over the border. I get that. That's illegal. That means that they need to go home and then apply legally. But at least the people coming over can acclimate if they want to. And the immigrants that I know that are American citizens now that came from those countries, they love this country. They absolutely came here for a better life, and they did it legally, and they are thriving here because anything they do here is still a 10 step up from what they had in their other country. Even if they're living a middle-class life, middle class here is wealth there, and they feel good about it.
Well, there's also, as the progressives took over, they took up they tore down any guide rails on society. we used to be able to, okay, there's a couple things. One, when we had big immigration pushes in the past, they either came over and had to hard scrabble, make it on their own, or they were sponsored. This whole, they come in and we have a welfare state offered to them.
They're shipped in the night by the government
recent.
to different locations.
That is very recent. And so that makes a big difference on it. You cannot have open borders in a welfare state. You cannot. Those are two competing forces that cause the whole to crumble. So, and then when they got here, we had guide rails. The guide rails were X, Y, and Z. You know, you came over and you act in proportion with our laws, or we would come down on you like a ton of bricks. So you acted like that. And everyone says, well, that's just racist because it only affected these other people. Look, sometimes people get caught up, but those guide rails applied to whites, to blacks, to Mexicans, to everyone else. It applied to everyone.
Australians, Canadians, all these people. It wasn't yes, where they came from.
There was evil things that happened, you know, Chinese. There was a deal made with the local it was like the 1850s. A deal was made because we just had a little thing called Civil War, killed 600,000 people and displaced a lot more. So we reached out and made a deal with China, who kind of had an overdraft of people and had a lot of extra men. And so we made a deal and they shipped their people over as
laborers,
as a gray area. Yes, they were, citizenship wasn't the same back then, but they were mistreated when they came over, but a lot of them stayed, made it through their life with it, which their life over here, even as kind of indentured servitude, but it was weird. It was kind of indentured servitude to their local constabulary back in China. And then they were bought by, it was a weird situation, but
it was like,
but
slavery.
They made it through, but their kids grew and prospered and became a part of the culture over here. But we had guide rails. You didn't come over here and have a riot swinging your flag. You just didn't do that. Honestly, if you're a empty-headed, water-headed retard out on the street, swinging another country's flag, stomping on other people's private property, I will send you home on a trebuchet. I will gladly do it. I will shoot you out of a cannon. I will gladly do it because you're not people I want around. You're not. Because you break those guide rails. Just like if I started acting a fool in Colorado, I would expect Colorado to leave bruises on me when they sent me back to Utah. I would expect that. But the Democrats are so hard female coded that but they get, you know, their cervix hurts when things get hard.
I don't understand. Like when you put it down to the very basics, and like the Vatican has a wall, you have locks on your front doors, you have fences, all these things that are in our everyday culture. Society has rules. Countries have borders or they're not countries, period, the end. So the argument is, let's let everyone in. Well, let's talk about our housing shortage. Let's talk about job shortages. Let's talk about all of that changes if you got rid of the people that do not belong here because they didn't follow the rules. And then tell me what it's like when you go to Germany, like my husband and I did, and have our business there. You think that Germany would let me hire me to work in my own business in Germany? I had to hire Germans and I had to leave every 3 months.
Not anymore.
This is it. They're not doing it for Americans.
No.
They're not taking Americans in Germany.
I'm telling you. Okay, a message to Europe. One, you guys gave up your guns. I'm sorry. You're subjects now. You gave up your right to tell the government no. You gave up your ability to. So now you're a subject. Now you belong to them. And they will make you suffer every minute of that. And you're going to suffer it. You're going to go to jail
for praying in your head outside an abortion clinic.
Well, it's not just that, but you're going to end up being ruled by these people. They're going to rule you. They are going to rule you, and they are from a culture. If you're lucky, that ruling will start in about 2 generations, and then it'll be more like when they ruled Spain, gray area. religiously unethical, but pay your jizya and you can carry on. Or you'll end up like it when it happens real fast and they tear down your churches and build a mosque over it and make you tear it down and build a mosque over it.
Then throw you in a mass grave.
And then make you pay the jizya. So that's where you are. And you guys had better figure out how to claw that back.
We're not far from it.
Well, we are far from it.
Europe and then us. It's like one of us bats an eyelash and a couple years later, the other is doing it.
We're eating backlash, and this backlash, I'm afraid, is going to stick. The society has become so low trust that right now, I don't care what party you're in, you can't open up Twitter or Facebook and not see some egregious legal fallacy happening in front of your face. And we still have the guns. I listened to a show today on my way into Costco. Took the boss to Costco today.
The boss.
She loved it. Anyhow.
I love a good Costco trip.
Oh, everyone loves Costco. But anyways, on the way in, I listened to a show. And I've listened to multiple shows about it, but they're all pretty good about, and we've talked about it before, and you're not familiar with it, but I'll bring it up again, the Battle for Blair Mountain. And it's just such an interesting story. Where it's the largest battle outside of the Civil War since the U.S. became the U.S. It is wild. And 13,000, that's 13,000. That's an army. Miners marched on, probably about 2,000 sheriff's deputies and anti-union people. And it's just, I'm not taking sides in it, but it's wild. And that just reminds me, guns make a big difference.
I agree.
If only one side had guns, it doesn't last 3 days. But when both sides have guns,
that's when a constitution comes in handy.
So
I don't know. People are saying, and I don't like it. I don't like a retribution feel when it comes to Donald Trump. However, I understand it. And for a man that's been dissected and absolutely crushed and his election stolen, and just coming from what he's come from, if I'm him or I'm his DOJ, I'm listening to Elon Musk's first 90 days, and I'm going in so deep that they're going to need 4 years just to get rid of me. Like it's going to be the a criminal audit of every single federal dollar. And if they did that and they actually went through and followed through, Elon Musk really said we could be out of this deficit, and even showed them how they could build a budget. Why aren't they building a budget? Why aren't they doing a budget?
Will you do me a favor and open that window? It's hotter than sin in here. I'll tell you what. I was the devil's standing over there in the corner.
Is it locked?
Might be.
It should be.
Anyways, so let's roll in while Holly's not at the mic. I can talk smack on Trump. I am pissed at Trump right now. I think Trump has buffooned it. Oh, Trump has buffooned it. I think Trump buffooned it with the Epstein stuff. I think Trump buffooned it with allowing Marjorie Taylor Greene to leave as she did. I think Trump, he's done a lot of good things. I think his messaging, his rhetoric is great. I think his stance on immigration is great, although realistically, a kinetic means for removing them is probably the least effective. I think it'd be cheaper just to pay him to leave.
I think it'd be easier just to
eliminate
their ability to work and any federal government dollars going to them, and a lot will deport.
Oh, I would make it so that states can't give dollars to them. I'd make it so that
that's states' rights. But it's federal law.
I would make it so state, oh, you're sending money to them. And I would be like, you know what? Mexicans, okay. Canadians, okay. British, but
Get in line.
Hondurans and all that, no.
Get in line. Get a background check. Let us prove who you are. I mean, this is not a lot to ask. Yes, we need reform. I'm the first person to say it's ridiculously hard to become an American citizen, but it should be.
It's just ridiculous.
But it's too long. It's too long. It's too expensive.
I would rather we just go to a sponsorship system. And then if you're sponsored here for 20 years, then you can apply for citizenship and we take all the taxes you paid into account. David says, I miss the Salt Lake Costco. Ours is less stocked up here in Jacksonville.
Can't you get like alcohol in yours?
Ooh. Yeah.
And it could probably deliver right to your house. So enjoy that freedom.
He says, drones with guns make a bigger difference.
And there he is. There's our Dave.
Dave, good to see you. It's like me mentioning guillotines. He says, I want letters of marque.
So I honestly believe we need to reform. I know great people that have been in this country and they've overstayed a visa and they plan to self-deport because it's the right thing to do. And they don't want to risk not getting the option to come back. I do know these people. I love these people. I love them. But they're right. They came in, they knew what they did was wrong, and they're going home so they can get in line properly. And Trump has said to them, if you self-deport, you can get on the list.
Get back in line.
Just like everybody else.
If we got to remove you, well, then you get a black mark next to your name.
But I'm asking people to consider what it's like outside of this country. We are the kindest, greatest country in the world. You try this in another country and it's not the same unless your melatonin is different.
Well, that's the Democrats. Remember the Democrats. I told you this in the beginning. I said the world is going to turn on Israel because the international progressive movement has made it so that the more melanin you have in your skin, the better you are. The poorer you are, the better you are. The less achieving you are, the better you are. You're a better person. And if you have made any kind of success, you're evil.
Yeah, they want to be the saviors to these people. They like it that these people are have less than, and yet they're underestimating a group of people that intentions are to go into that country, have as many babies as possible, run for office, send money to home, and never become American because devil lives in America. We are the great evil.
It's a modern day religion. It's a religion. It matches most of your 17th century Protestantism. Okay. William says, a Cuban friend of mine who lives in Switzerland tells me she is worried about the uncontrolled migration of people from Muslim majority countries because they are causing turmoil in Europe. Yes.
Switzerland and Sweden, one of them, was one of the most safest countries in Europe. And because of they've tried to change the immigration policy because they were seeing such a high rate of rape.
Violence.
Attacks. Yeah. Violence.
What about Denmark having grenades thrown in open streets? I mean, think about it. And he says, and Europeans seem to be giving in. The leadership class of Europe is, I think they're selling their people out for demographics. Honestly, I think they are. I think they're selling. It
equals votes, which equals power.
Well, votes and power, but I think it's for demographics because they're in a population collapse and they need people to keep their socialist system going. Socialism only works if you grow people every year. If you have a decline in people, socialism dies on the vine. This is well known.
Backs to put the burden on.
You need to have people paying the other people who don't produce. And the minute you lose a part of that population,
the machine
paying for the kids and the elderly, then it becomes too burdensome. And that's when they go and put you on a statue in Romania and your own soldiers point a rifle at you on live TV. And then you join the ranks of Ceausescu.
Are you speaking Chinese right now?
No, it's a guy that happened.
You're dropping some big 50-cent words today.
That's
Turning
his,
50 really
that's
is
his
impressive.
name. That's his name.
No, you've used a lot of big 50
You can go
centers.
watch
if
it
I had
happen,
any
too.
change, I'd be throwing change
Would
at you
you?
for some
You'd
of
be
the
making
big
it rain?
words you've been dropping. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Like a steel trap.
William says, I agree. The United States is the most generous country in the world, even if the haters say otherwise. It really is. And I see that's, if I was to run a citizenship thing, it would be set up that it'd be easier to become a citizen, but you would know well the guardrails. It would be an achievable goal, I should say. I would make it achievable for people with ideals and dreams, but there would be no welfare available to them. It's hard scrabble. We want our citizenship, our citizenry to be honed. We don't want soft, weak citizenry that come up here and apply for housing and get hotel rooms and all that. We want citizenry that comes up and earns it and then appreciates what they earn and then hangs a flag out in front because it gave them a chance to earn that, because back in Somalia, they were part of the No-No tribe in the No-No area, and they couldn't start a business because of that.
You guys, this is the craziest thing is I cannot get over why does America have to be different than the rest of the world when it comes to who we let in here? I mean, everybody is an immigrant in their country in some way, shape, or form, or in the country that they call home now. It's so different that when, I went over to Europe and Germany to build a dream, and the red tape I went through and not seeking citizenship. I was never seeking citizenship there. I just wanted to build a business there that would help the community there and help us here. And I mean, we have family over there and we love Germany. We love it. But you'd never see us hanging a German flag in our yard. And my husband was born there. So there are rules in place everywhere else. Why does the United States have to be different? Why are American citizens who have never had it better, like we are the luckiest, most spoiled individuals on the planet. By the grace of God, we have grown and we have survived and we have got an amazing life here. We are lucky, we are spoiled, but it all came on the backs of immigrants that had to come over here legally. So
well, it's not even that they came over here and earned it.
Right.
Your Italian forefathers or your forefathers from Egypt or wherever back in the day, they came over here and earned it. And now they come over here and
it's totally changed.
They're coming over here. Everyone says for economic reasons, but I would argue the ones that come over here to start a business, those ones I like. It's the ones that come over here to get on the dole. It's what is it? I looked it up the other day. 56% of households that are headed by an immigrant are on welfare, on one form of welfare.
It's in the Somalia population, it's way higher.
Yes.
And they take on multiple wives, and those wives have full-time jobs, and they're getting all that benefit.
Well, no, they don't have multiple jobs. They'll take on multiple wives, but each wife is an illegal wife.
Yes, but
each wife gets on the welfare dole.
And they work. So they work at Walmart full-time, but just for $15 an hour so they don't lose their welfare.
Yep. But they all get on welfare. So one household will have 3 or 4 welfare checks.
Let's talk about the EPT, what is it? The card.
Uh-huh.
Somalians in Minnesota, they're starting to see that a lot of the Somali restaurants have something in common. They have their markets, their grocery stores inside their restaurant or right next door, so Somalians aren't going to Walmart and buying when the checks come in.
They'll use the EBT card to shop for their restaurant and then sell it at the restaurant. So you're paying for the restaurant's bottom line. Drink it in, folks. This is the system that they built. The Democrats are doing their damnedest to destroy this nation. They just are.
Give me any
They
reason
They
why
may
they're
not know they are, or I think some of them do. I think that lizard in California is perfectly aware of what it's doing. But yeah,
Biden's group and handlers knew what they were doing.
oh, they are.
I mean,
Those
even
guys
Obama got rid of people more
Yeah.
than any president, actually.
Well, Biden couldn't get rid of people.
He opened the gate.
Yeah.
And before he's elected, he even said, I'm opening the gate. I'm having no restrictions.
Everybody come here. Yeah. David says, the system is not set up properly. They told me no when I wanted to bring Patricia here. That is
Just his
David's
wife.
wife, and his wife is from Brazil. How do you tell your citizens they can't bring in people to their own country? See, that is, and when they get married, I would make it so it doesn't cost them. It's pretty easy to do. You get married, but I would make it so you have like a 10 years. You've got to earn it. 10 years, you've got to stay married before we give you citizenship. And that way, if they'll suffer with each other for 10 years, they earned it. And then citizenship should be just free right there. You don't need to get a lawyer. You just got to get married and live together for 10 years. And if you can, show that way, you're not getting the people who come over here. I had a friend who had a Jamaican girlfriend, and I remember I had to write a letter to immigration stating that, yes, they were married and they do live together and all that stuff. And I think it took about a year and a half. It was fairly quick. And she got her citizenship through the marriage. And not a week later,
Dumped him.
She started a fight with him and then, and made this whole show like he was violent towards her and then left. But she's a citizen now.
Well, I think citizenship through marriage makes a lot of sense, especially if there's guardrails up. I think that, if they're going to start discussing, we're the only country in the world, if you have a baby here, you are a citizen here. You can't go to China and have a baby there and get the citizenship.
That's up to the Supreme Court right now, isn't it? Aren't they?
Yeah, and Trump has said,
that?
why are we just having this now?
That was written for freed slaves. And it's kind of been perverted since then, I think. David says the people need to be allowed to sponsor, not the government or corporations. And I'm torn on that. I'm torn
because of what the churches have done.
I am okay with corporations sponsoring and taking ownership of all that. I just think if they're going to, their books need to be laid bare. Like we get to look and see if, say, a corporation is making extreme profits just by hiring illegals and kind of holding them as indentured hostages.
They're doing it now.
Which they are doing right now. I mean, fentanyl farms or whatever.
Processing plants. So they're paying these people half of what they should be paying them.
And that's where I say I would make them lay bare. Now, I'm not a fan of minimum wage per se, but I do think it has a place in society. It's never been idealized as anything of a benefit. But I would make it so they're laid bare.
I think you get rid of minimum wage.
Then you have to start another watchdog group. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know how I would deal with that. That's a complicated one that I think people a lot smarter than me would have to work out the particulars on.
That used to be a pretty standard thing with a sponsor. It should absolutely be, if it's not the business that is guaranteeing that you are going to be employed when you get here, and that business kind of makes sure that you are a good member of society, that you are taken care of as far as housing and check-ins and all of that. I could see a corporation benefiting from sponsoring employees, but wide open books, so they're not getting, ridiculous poor and living in camps.
David brings up something, but he says, why do we not have different tiers of citizenship, working permits or something? And we had that up until, I want to say, the 70s.
I thought we have green cards now.
Well, we do, but we had working, they had working permits at, what was his name? Cesar Chavez. That was his big thing.
We had working permits 4 years ago.
If you didn't have those, well, it was a different system back then. And Cesar Chavez would go out and beat the crap out of illegals if they came up here. He says, so I don't know. Yes, Green, I don't know. They need to work something else on that. He says half of what they should be paid is 10 times more than what they make back home. Yes, 100%. But what I am concerned about is our nation is on a race to the bottom. Right now, try being a teenager and finding a job. It is tough out there. And imagine if, and here in Utah, we don't necessarily compete a lot, especially not out here in Tooele, with an immigrant population. But imagine.
I disagree.
Imagine if
the church has brought in a lot.
We do compete, but not like they do. And I couldn't imagine trying to, let's say you're an inner city urban youth and you're trying to find a job. You're trying to compete with all these illegals that came in that want to take these entry level jobs.
And companies want to give them to them
and
because
you won't
they can
find
do it for cheaper.
Yes, and you won't find it. And they're held hostage because the company says, hey, you act up and, we hold the power.
How do companies do this when these people don't have social security cards?
So that's an issue I have. We need to.
And there's identity theft are they making a fake?
Yes.
And so you add identity theft, you add illegal
security theft.
entrance. Absolutely. And here's the thing. We're just supposed to sit here and be like, this is fine. This isn't going to destroy us as a country.
Work out. I mean,
we can't find housing for our elderly and our young families. We can't find jobs.
Like the argument I got on Facebook earlier over the last couple of days. The reason I would argue a major reason why the Black Americans showed up for Trump was they are watching the areas they come from become a wasteland for their kids. Their kids can't find opportunity. Their kids can't find work. Their schools are driven down even further, which their schools were never something to write home about. But it's driven further when you bring in people, when you bring in other kids who can't speak the language, who can't communicate like that. So that's a big thing. And I mean, I would argue that is why Trump got all those votes.
Well, Black America, I mean, it's gotten to a point where you can't talk about it. I'm so tired of people not talking about it. Black Americans, white Americans, Americans first, those folks, they deserve the country that they call home. And they shouldn't have to be afraid of their daughter's safety, their job opportunities, their housing opportunities, their medical opportunities to get all of this. The system is being drained right before our eyes. And we are taking second fiddle to people who are handout. And you guys all know the majority of the people that snuck over that border under Biden came in here for the money.
Oh,
for the
seriously.
phone, for the housing.
Seriously, with all the money that was given out, I'll bet Somalians were writing home like, dude, I got a scam going on here. You need to get over here and get in on this. Look, I'm handling the autistic food group, but you handle the autistic food group down the street, and we're going to own this place. And they did.
Somalian restaurants also have a grocery store near them and also a child care place near them and also a home health place.
100%.
Now, all these businesses, it's like in Minnesota, you can see them in clusters all over.
Handouts.
Same with Iowa. And here's the thing. They're doing it. They're building their communities so that a majority of them are home health care workers. They need places for childcare because the wives are all working. It's like polygamy on a grand scale. And we understand polygamy here in Utah and the big problems that come with it.
Yourself.
But why is this okay in our country? Why?
Because the Democrats only see that they are dark. And therefore their religion demands that they give up everything for someone who's a little bit darker.
Right. But Democrats have never been real keen on religion.
The Democrats bought into the progressivism and they ran with it and they ran hard. And I'm telling you, that's where it is. And the Democrats at the same time, the Democrats demonized the U.S. flag. They demonized patriotism. They demonized military service. They demonized all that. And then they
demonized
wondered,
families.
yeah. William says, I see how many people criticize the immigration policies of the United States, but those same people never complain about the immigration policies of Australia, China, or even Mexico. It's 100%. They never do. I mean, then again, who wants to move to? I mean, Australia, I'd like to visit, but they got a lot of spiders down there.
Oh, that's
Creepy
terrifying.
and they took away your guns. Man, I would not live anywhere where they took away your guns.
I think the behavior of the COVID whole thing
Yeah.
is enough for me.
Concentration camps.
I used to want to go there. It was my dream place. And I'm like, what? Wait.
And then he says,
Literal camps.
Towards Guatemala or Cuba, which are even stricter. I think those people are being unfair when judging the U.S. 100%. Though you can immigrate to Cuba if you become a cop killer here in the United States.
William, what's it like in Ecuador for people to move there and claim citizenship of your country? I'd love to know. I wonder if South America, I wonder how they feel about, because I know how Mexico feels about American citizens owning property there and building businesses there. Oh, and if you come in and overstay your visa or your travel, whatever, they deport you. They hunt you down and deport you.
Or they send you to a jail and you become Oso's roommate.
It's not fair, guys. This is the thing I'm finding on social media, especially, is I get it. We love people as Christians. We are to love our brother as ourselves. We are to be love. That is what Christ preached. Love, acceptance.
Okay. Well,
but he also said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, which means follow the laws of the land. And that, to me, is highly important. And give unto God what is God's. So it's not the United States' job to save every country. And it's time we get out of that.
I'm just a realist. We stand on the precipice of a modern industrial revolution in the form of AI, and we're building low trust societies. Just go buy more ammo.
Hey, speaking of AI, my boyfriend, his name is Chris Pratt. I don't know if you know him. He's got a new movie coming out in January that looks really interesting. I think you should play the trailer.
I don't know.
It's an AI future, and it's a judge. It's an AI judge judging people on crimes. Very interesting. And I just love Chris Pratt. So
everyone does.
I know. He's so great. Chris Pratt movie. Let me see.
Anyways, we do have to talk about a couple other things that's on our list.
It's called Mercy.
Mercy. Okay, we'll dig that up right before we head out of here. So you've got the innocent fentanyl fishing boats are being harassed by our evil Navy again.
This one I'm so torn about. Torn about it.
Look, I'm not happy about the actions we have going on down around Venezuela. I don't know what the game plan is there. It feels to me like we are reaching out for more oil because Venezuela has the largest undrilled oil reserves in the world left. And so it kind of feels like an oil grab to me, which, let's face it, we're kind of known for that.
I think it feels like a CIA change in leadership grab, like we're also known for.
Yeah, that too. Another thing, though, it's too above board. I think putting our Navy down there is not usually how it operates when we run the CIA missions in there, like we did with old Kermit Roosevelt in Iran, 63. So I don't know. I do think it's a complicated deal, so I'm going to let people who know more than me make that decision. But I do think it's funny that our media immediately calls them fishing boats. Yeah. Now, I've seen videos of these boats, and they are a 25-footer,
Very advanced machines.
full of drums of stuff. I don't see any fishing nets on them. That is one thing that I don't see. So maybe there's a new way of fishing. Maybe they're crabbing boats. I don't know. But that's one where that is a super complicated situation that I think people who have more intelligence than me, and when I say intelligence, I mean it both ways. They are smarter and they have the on-ground information of what it really is. So I will trust them to do that. Now, if it comes out later on that it was incorrect, then I think we should hold them accountable. But I think we need to prove it was incorrect. Fentanyl is a huge problem in the U.S. I think fentanyl by its nature gets laced onto other stuff, and then it's kind of like a
cutting agent.
Yeah, they step on it with fentanyl, and it makes the heroin or the cocaine or the marijuana, whatever, a little stronger. And it has taken too many teenage lives, and I think that's a scourge we need to deal with, and I personally don't know any other way to deal with it. I may be wrong.
But hey, closing the border was a good start. My problem is, like, when I did not like it when Obama started bombing people in other countries and American citizen even. And Obama talked about it, saying, you know what, we feel bad, the deaths that are happening of innocent people.
American citizens. But the big thing about that is he was bombing restaurants that were full of all sorts of people. He bombed a wedding party. Now, unless Osama bin Laden and Osama bin Laden were marrying each other, I think that's a lot of collateral damage. That's a bridge too far. Now, if these turn out to be fishing boats, they were boats that were specifically targeted. Now, if we start shelling the boats when the boats are at a harbor and other people at the harbor become collateral, then I think we've got a definite argument. Really.
How do you feel about the accusation of the Navy going in and killing them because there were survivors?
Oh, that
I'm curious because
that one. Okay, that one. That's an act of war. That's a war crime.
Why? Well, are they obligated to take them into custody? I mean, our laws say that
we are obligated once they surrender to.
But do they surrender?
Take them into custody. Well, if they're like laying on there with their hands behind their head.
No, but if they're literally laying on floating fentanyl or whatever because their boat has been blown to shit and they're laying in the ocean, they didn't die in the bombing. Would we just leave and be like,
we could.
Good luck, God bless.
We could. I mean, I don't know. That is a complicated one. But on the same note, the DC bomber got caught humana, or supposedly got caught humana, and that Jake Tapper said he was a white guy.
They literally led with that, folks.
Jake Tapper, while they put the picture on the screen.
It's a mostly peaceful protest because I'm CNN and there's a car burning.
And it is a not even questionably black guy smiling next to him. I was like, all right.
You can't make that up. You cannot make that up.
My favorite part is CNN has not come out and said, look, we made a mistake. He had the wrong information before we ran. They didn't even try to make an excuse. They just on to the next story, and it went everywhere. But before we go, we got 15 minutes left. We need to talk about, someone turned me on to this Utah House Bill 0048. So I would love to say that I am smart enough to be able to read a bill in one sitting and be able to break it all down for you. Usually I have to chew on it for a little while. So I went to Southern Utah News. Now this is kind of a Democrat-led magazine, but it talks about House Bill 0048 set to go in effect on May 7, 2025, requires Utah counties to appoint a wildlands officer to assess a fee against property owners of high-risk wildlife urban interface properties in the amount set by the Division of Forestry and Fire and State Lands. So this sounds like a little bit of extra taxation right on the face of it. Like
because of where you live.
If you bought a parcel of land next to BLM or forestry land, they can come in and say, you need to give us extra money to deal with that, which is just another sign of a government that isn't a government that's stealing your money and not meeting its fiduciary duties with that money. So they're going to come and try to take more.
Well, and it under the guise of we need to be able to cover firefighter or forest fires. If fires happen near your house, it's going to cost us money and you're going to fund it. It is kind of a tax the rich because most people buying property with their backyard being BLM are probably wealthier.
Well, and then here's the other rub on it is they've got an unelected individual that's going to go around and may look at your property, whether it is or not, and just call it high risk. And if they do that, it'll increase or eliminate your ability to get insurance.
Which takes your home away.
Which takes away.
Which is California's problem.
We are following California into the gutter. You know what?
It's because we have so many migrants here.
How many
from
times
California.
on one show can I mention guillotine?
That's your second time.
I know. It's crazy. But I don't like hidden taxations, and I don't like the ability for an unelected person to come around and abuse you. I don't like that.
Well, and I just don't know. Are we taking care of this land in the first place for these folks? I understand fires are very, very expensive.
Let me tell you a
especially
story.
for the county or the state that they're in. I understand that. But I think we've got to stop regulating insurance companies and we have to stop regulating people.
Well, it's not just that, but
is killing their ability to have freedom.
You know what? I mean, let the person, if a person starts a fire and then it runs into forest lands, liquidate his butt and take everything he's got
Most of them
to
don't have
cover
anything.
it. That's fine. But you can liquidate the property they have.
I'm sure they don't have property. You're
that's
talking
fine.
about arsonists?
No, if someone
has an accident on their own land.
On their own land, burning weeds and it gets away from them, put a lien on their land. They get to cover the costs over the next however long, whatever. And if arsonists happen, I think capital punishment needs to come back. I know I've forever said I'm against it, but I think there's just too many people causing too much ruckus. Like that kid in, where was it, South Carolina that was raping those girls, the high school kid that just got off. Yeah, I've got no use for him. I would like to hear a rope stretching. Anyways.
You know what? Something, a new pollster came out that says Trump has lost in an up or down poll ratio, the young people, the 18 to 30.
What has he done for him?
And well, yeah, here's the thing is it's the economy, stupid. It's the economy. That's what these young people needed was help in the economy, and they're not seeing it.
Every 3 months, what do we hear? Oh, a check's coming your way.
I don't think a check is what they're looking for.
Oh,
These people are looking for jobs and the ability to find jobs and the ability to afford homes.
A $2,000 check would make every young person happy right now. Anything. But look, Trump turned around. Doge went in and eliminated a lot of abuse. And Trump turned around and forced the big, beautiful bill on everyone, which wiped out all that.
I understand.
And look, I'm not going against Trump on this, but what do the youth have? What are they looking at? Is there any win?
Well, gas. Now, granted, I just paid $2.47 a gallon
in 1 year,
but they can't find jobs.
In 1 year, Trump's not going to turn that around. No. But of course, the youth they're held hostage. These kids have gone through catastrophe after catastrophe. the first how many? Okay, what was it? The year after I was born, we had the oil shortage problem, right?
And
And then
interest
we
rates were
didn't-
like 17%,
And then we
18%.
didn't have another one until the closest one might have been the bombing of the barracks in Beirut,
We
which
had
was on the news for 7 minutes.
We had the opposite problem under Trump when oil was too cheap. Remember
Oh,
that?
that happened because of COVID. They couldn't get rid of it.
Right. But
And China bought it
that
all.
was a new nightmare unlocked.
China bought it all. China's reserves are through the roof.
And then
We dropped the ball on all of
should have
that.
bought all of it.
But, that's what happens when you have a government that's populated by Democrats. Anyways, but this one here, I don't like it. I don't like. So here's the story. I'm a hunter, right? And for the last 20 years, we have had a depleting population of mule deer in the state. And that's because our state biologist appointed position put a moratorium on hunting cats, hunting mountain lions. And so the mountain lions, I would go out and I've got 4 or 5 deadheads of cat kills.
You should mount one of them.
You're looking at one right there.
No, I mean full body.
No, it's a deadhead. It's a cat kill. Cat killed a buck.
Oh, I'm thinking
And so
that
the
you
cats,
were hunting
so
cats.
we put a moratorium. Well, no, over the last 2 years, we got a new biologist. And he said, oh no, a biologist who likes the idea of hunting. The previous biologist didn't. He was some leftist twit from University of Who Gives a Damn. And he comes out and, his cervix was hurting when he thought about people having a good sportsman time.
That's offensive to those of us with the cervix. I'm just saying, how dare you accuse him of having one? Couldn't handle it.
You're probably right.
Weakness.
Anyways, but now it's open season on cats. You see it, you kill it.
Well, I mean,
And so give it 20 years and we'll have a good population of mule deer again.
so where does that fall into this bill?
Well, what if you get an unelected guy who maybe just doesn't like people who live next to the forestry land? So he goes listing you as high risk. He goes listing everyone as high risk.
It's true. I mean, if it's
Or-
money involved.
Or if he's just a guy who doesn't like your face, right? And then some unelected guy lists you as high risk. He can probably argue it, letters and jargon, whatever. Next thing you know, you can't get insurance.
Tell me this. Is
He
this
puts your-
unelected guy doing anything to control the potential for burns in wildfire places? Where are they burning off the stuff they need to control burns? Are they cleaning up the underbrush? What is the state doing to prevent fires? I'd like to know that. Because fires are going to happen. We live in a desert and droughts happen. But the citizenry, let me just compare this, though, back to Trump and what he could do for the taxpayer and for the young people. He's doing it with immigration. Think about how much housing comes available if illegal immigrants are gone. Think about how many jobs come available. I mean, this is a trickle-down effect. I understand that, but I'm looking into the future, and he can't do it in a year, but in 3 more, potentially, that could be a side effect to immigration that we see quickly. Housing coming open. I don't know. Insurance companies maybe drop because they're not paying as much. Not that anyone ever drops share prices, but
my car insurance went down this last go around.
Well, then I take it back.
I don't know what I did. Well, it's probably because I'm turning 50. William says, in response to Holly's question, immigrating to Ecuador is quite accessible for U.S. citizens. In fact, there are several communities of Americans, Canadians, and even Europeans in some parts of the country. I heard that Argentina was real big on letting Europeans
William,
in once upon a time.
Do these folks get citizenship there, or do they have summer homes and part-time homes there?
In my city called Manta, which is a coastal city, many Americans live here. I think most of them are retirees, and others are freelancers or real estate agents. Well, I do know that there are in Brazil and Argentina, there are communities that are completely German speaking, going back to late 40s. Anyways, but they're like blonde hair, blue eyes, and they're generally like a little kind of gated community,
That's
like its
how
own city.
Puerto Rico is. It's a tax haven for wealthy.
Puerto Rico is a U.S.
Right.
territory.
But I'm saying they go in there and they create communities that are
That's what-
gated and
That's
protected.
what Peter Schiff did. Peter Schiff moved his whole investment, whatever firm down there. And the only time he has a hiccup, he says, well, it's a tax haven for him. He moved down there just for the tax haven part. He did that when, I think when Biden first became president, because he saw the radicalness. Of course, Peter Schiff's an old guy now. He may have sold his company, but yeah, he talked about it openly.
There's a whole television show on TLC or something where people go to buy homes in other countries. And we had that guy on, remember, on our show talking about United States citizens finding other countries to buy property in if they're allowed. And, a lot of countries will allow it.
Oh, yeah.
And, but I don't know how many countries give dual citizenship.
I don't know. That's another thing. I think we need to readdress our dual citizenship status. I don't know. That complicates things in my mind in a lot of ways.
I agree.
But that's an argument for another time. But yeah, I don't like the fact that an unelected guy can go look at your property and say, high risk. What measure, what yardstick does he need to use to dictate that?
It'll be an insurance company that can evaluate risk.
And that's even worse.
That's who it will be.
That's even worse. What happens if the insurance company comes in after an incident and says, you were high risk then? All that money you paid to us over the last 10 years is wiped out because we considered you.
Conflict of interest for sure.
So that's a problem. That's a problem. I do think I think that's a ugly situation. Of course, if you own that property, I think you should take every step to protect yourself, be it cutting a road. That's one of the biggest steps. Just cutting a road as a fire break. Cutting a road as a fire break is the biggest one. Don't store any of your, flammable structures anywhere near where it could run to it. I would cut multiple layers of road where it may,
I have to think that I can see in my mind a lot of places that are up against forestry, and I feel like those communities are pretty well designed. But again, I'm thinking of wealthy communities.
Well, yes, wealthy, but like we have right over here owns the side of the mountain there between Middle Canyon and Anaconda Road. I know that they've got, vehicle worthy roads up in there, but they're right against it. Could that guy come in and
absolutely they can.
I shouldn't say guy. Could that lady or guy, that individual come in and say high risk? And next thing you know, a part of our community that runs cows can no longer do that.
I mean, honestly, they could, and they will. Tooele County would be affected for sure.
That's an ugly thing. That's an ugly thing to have the government set up because I don't know.
They turn everything to crap.
Have landowners come after the government when a wildfire set out and has the landowners argued for the government to pay them off. So that's one avenue.
That's why they pay for insurance.
That's one avenue. Just have the government say, look, you want to buy land that borders public land? There's nothing you can do. If the fire starts here and runs onto your land, you've got to manage your land. And if you fail to do that,
I don't think they're go for the government. I think that the problem is their insurance. When they call, like in California, when they go to get their claim back, insurance companies go bankrupt, and that's not what they're in business to do.
This does sound like it is the government doing protectionism for insurance companies. That's what it sounds like to me. And it's ugly. But anyways,
Wait,
That's
you
the
got to
show.
open your present.
Oh, I got to open my present. So Holly brought me a present.
It's his birthday.
It's my birthday.
50.
I've got the bag says happy birthday on it in a nice 80s fashion. Oh,
Tell me you love it.
Is fantastic. This is old Hemeyer's contraption. For those of you who don't know who Hemeyer is, some 15 years ago in Greeley, Colorado, the city started abusing him. So Hemeyer, if you can't see it, here's a bigger picture of it. The Killdozer.
We've talked about it on the show
Yes.
before, which is what made me think of you.
Dude, and it's a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it looks like a Hawaiian shirt from a distance, but these are all Killdozers
This is fantastic.
from Retro Rifle. So if you guys ever want to get cool shirts that actually they look like a Hawaiian shirt or a nice shirt from behind, but they've got little symbolism, rifles buried inside.
This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. Dude, and William says, happy birthday, Jared. Nice gift, Holly. Yes, wonderful gift. Thank you so much.
I love it. It
I
feels
do.
really nice.
I do. This is sporting on the range, 100%.
Yeah, they have so many options there. And I'm not the type of person who can buy you a bright green floral shirt because I know you wear them. I just don't know if I can contribute to said things.
All right. Norma says, who do we ask to eliminate the bill? Are you talking about the 0048? For us, our state senator is Scott Sandel.
Well, we don't know who the new senator is of Tooele yet.
Yeah,
the forward party
for Tooele, it was Dan Thatcher, but he's kind of stepping down, and we'll see who we end up with after that. For Norma, for your state rep, that would be Bridger Bolinder, and for up here in Tooele, that would be Nicolene Peck. So you can reach out to either one of them through, if you just go to the utah.gov and find them, they will have their .gov email listed, and you shoot a message to them, whether it's on the 0048 or on a message you want to send to
for the initiative.
Yes. For the initiative, anything else, remember, you're going to get more flies with honey. Sometimes my arguments on the internets do not reflect that, but that's because sometimes I get tired of arguing. I get tired of educating people who try to don't come on and call me racist. I am not racist. I am civilizationalist. I am societist, but I'm not racist. I don't care what color you are. I care if you're a moron or not.
That's the evil argument. I mean, it's so easy to call someone.
Don't try to come on
evil.
and do that, and I won't call you a water-headed moron. It's just quite simple. If you do that, I will point out to you your flaws in that argument. Because
you're going to be a grumpy old man,
dude. Oh, you better believe it.
I got to get off your lawn as soon as I get out of here.
Sherry said, "Great surprise gift. You won on this one." Yes, I did. This is fantastic. That is way cool.
I can't think of it. They made it for you.
And
then every person that talks about it to you, you get to tell them the story and educate them because you educated me on it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love you guys. I'm grateful. Next week, we're invited Chris Sloan, who is a dear friend of mine. He's also a brilliant member of our community. He's running for the state Senate seat, Dan Thatcher's seat, next year, which is in 2 weeks or whatever. Filing starts in January.
I still want to get Dan on. I want to talk to him and find out because look, I have nothing against the Forward Party. I know quite a few people who either ran in or are currently affiliated with the Forward Party. It's kind of a big tent party taking in all of the broken toys, but I wonder if Dan, I do know why Dan sought his way out of, thank you, William. Oh, we finally get to see William. He found us on Facebook.
Hey, William.
I do know
Thanks for your comments
why
today.
Dan sought his way out of the Republican Party. I know why he did. And it is a weird time. Donald Trump is a wrecking ball. He took people who were devout Republicans. Well, I think COVID and Trump, and made them
And
totally turn away. And to me, I see the turning towards a forward party as not a bad thing at all, because the forward party does carry some messages that I think we all need to look at and reflect on. But to totally switch and go to the Democrat side, and then when they start arguing the Democrat talking points, that makes me wonder, like, what was that culture shock for you, where you went from arguing one side to suddenly switching? That'd be almost like a housewife who is battered on the last day of their honeymoon. So they go in, everything's perfect. This is my favorite person. And then all of a sudden they're like, I hate this person. I want them to die. It reminds me of a divorce. It is wild to me. And we both have friends that have done it. And I can see if they just said, look, I'm going independent, which to me, a forward party feels like an independence.
Does it? Have you looked at the candidates?
Well, okay.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, this just feels like a Democrat party.
Their candidates are, like I said, broken toys. I mean, you get all of them. You get most of them are, how do I put this? Most of them are people who would be a Democrat if they didn't carry that opposition to authority.
I don't see a lot of candidates looking at an opportunity to get a couple weeks elected before the
there's also they have a lot of them carry a Democrat message. And I haven't watched anyone leave the forward party for the Republican Party. So that's a point to you, but I've seen 3 people now leave the forward party for the Democrat Party. So maybe it's just people who don't feel like they're able to break through that mucous membrane ceiling into the Democrat Party to run. So they run as a forward party.
Which surprises me, because Democrats are looking always for candidates.
They always
are. But there is type of structure and culture you have to agree to, or you are not going to be okay.
All of our fostered Democrat candidates are all wealthy. 100%. So are our Republicans, though. All of our not all of them. I would say state reps. Nicolene didn't come in wealthy.
Dan Thatcher's not wealthy.
No, Dan's not wealthy. But all of our Democrat are wealthy. All of them are, they all come from highly established families, the ones that break through.
Well-educated as well.
Well, they're
very well-educated.
That's a big thing. But I mean, look, you don't become a progressive without going to the what do you call it?
Brainwash college.
When you go to what do they call the religious schools? Anybody help me out?
Private
seminary. The colleges are just seminaries for the progressive religion.
Fair.
That's all they are. 100%. They are completely seminaries for the progressive religion. When you have to go to college and you're required to tick off some of these classes, which are completely ideological classes, they're not even like entertaining classes like learning how to make an ashtray. They are complete ideological classes. I have to take one of these classes,
and you have to pay for it. Like, you have to pay for this class.
Seriously.
And it's like, well, how does this help me with my major? But getting back to my point, Chris Sloan is a brilliant
Yes.
person. He's got so much education when it comes to real life experience and working in the housing world.
Well, we'll hear.
And I'm excited to introduce you. If you don't know
Yes.
him, he'll be on next week at 6:30. And we're excited because we want to hit every single
We need to
topic.
I want to get the Democrat and the Forward Party offering for that seat on as well. I want to hear all of them.
Well, I'm talking to him mostly about housing in this country and the shortage and all of that. Filing doesn't happen until January for the races. And we're going to have every candidate and every party because next year is an election year, folks.
If you're running for an office, we dropped the ball on the city stuff. But if you're running for an office, we're going to figure out how to formulate it where you can give a quick interview. If it's not even if it's just like a recorded one with either one of us, just to say who you are, what you're running for, any office across the great state of Utah, reach out. We'll just throw you on, and we'll probably put together kind of maybe a separate play show,
like a montage.
Yeah, but like we might do like a Tuesday night where we fire it up, give a quick, hey, how you doing? Boom, here's 5 candidates for different things. And that way people can come. I know it was extremely helpful. A lot of people reached out to me when we used to do all of the local candidates, but we've kind of gone into a broader show. So I want to hold this offering out to anyone and just kind of make those shows not about us, but make it about the state candidates and all the people voting to get to know who they are. Because you may be undecided. How many people get their ballot and don't know who 70% of the people on it are?
I think a lot, but you know what? I'm somebody who gets my ballot, and personally, sometimes it's hard for me to decide between the candidates.
That's true.
And so it is something that if we can help people get to know these candidates on a face-to-face level, like we do with our delegates, all of you can be delegates for yourselves.
Yeah. And if you guys have a good idea of, like, let's say you had 15 minutes to ask a candidate just kind of blanket questions, throw them our way. We'll look through them. We'll come up and we'll have kind of a easy way for them to come on. And even if they just want to record it all by themselves, just those blanket questions. This is what I stand for, whatever your questions are, what's your favorite dog or ice cream? I don't know.
Jeez, we're not asking questions like that. No, I will not. But I will say that Chris has been in our county for a long time, in our state, a very long time. He knows the markets. He also knows the issues that face small communities like ours, as well as what the state itself is facing. And he is a mentor of mine, somebody that has been so helpful for me understanding the issues. And I love to share him with you. And I'm excited to, hopefully you'll tune in, especially when it comes to matters of Utah, things that really matter to us and the issues that matter to you. Those are what we want to cover, because it is an election year coming up. And even if he wasn't running, these issues should all take precedence right now in what we're getting out of our candidates. We have to make sure we're sending good people. And as a party person, I am here to tell you, pick the best candidate that represents you. I'm not asking you to vote straight party. I wouldn't mind it. But I'm saying that we have great people running, and this party invests in that. But I also know your issues may not all be the same as the party's issues, and your candidate may be somebody that's not in your party. Pick the candidate that best represents you, and then go all in with that candidate once you understand not just the issues they're going to talk to you about, but how. How are they going to do this? How are they going to pay for it? These type of things. Candidates have a great talking points, but you get into the weeds with these folks any way you can and get every bit that you can understand about how these things are going to be actually accomplished. And that to me is very important. Thatcher has been great about running convention campaigns, and he's great with the delegates and very great with information. He's been a dear friend, and I wish him all the best. I've been watching the Forward Party. I'm looking at some of these candidates, and I'm not seeing conservative viewpoint, especially
No.
if this seat is going to cover rural Utah, which is us out here in Tooele County still. But they also were covering Eagle Mountain and
Thatcher had a conservative viewpoint on everything except for he vocalized a conservative viewpoint on everything except for the transgender issue. That was what, and that one was such a bridge too far for him. That's kind of wild to me that one issue drove him.
I'm not sure it did until we talked to him. I'm not sure that's what drove him, but I do know he had some issues with both sides of the aisle in legislature. And I know he was a fighter, and I respect that about him. I think having an interview with him would be awesome to actually get his side. And he probably won't say anything or do interviews until this election is over.
Is he running again or not?
Oh, no, he's resigning.
He's resigning. Okay.
And that means the Forward Party gets to replace him to cover this next year.
Yeah.
So it'll be the first time, I think, that a Forward Party holds an office in Senate.
Hey, and maybe the Forward Party. And look,
look at the Forward Party and meet the candidates.
I know I talk smack about progressives, but that's mostly because where the progressives held control, they ran amok.
You think our progressives in Utah are going to be any better than the national stage?
Well, I'm just saying, but I'm at a point in society where I think I am really at a point where I think we need to lean into the little petri dishes of ideas. We need to let wild stuff be tried. Like I'm not one of those who's freaking out about Mamdani, because he more than likely he's going to fail all over the place, but he might find one nugget of success that other places facing issues can emulate. And that nugget of success might be something out of wild left field. And I think we're going to need, especially moving into this new industrial revolution, we are going to need to be open about those little nuggets. I don't think we can turn over wholesale. Definitely can't.
I don't know how he's going to get these things accomplished without authoritarianism and taking freedoms away.
We're going to have to see what he does.
Oh, I'm here for it.
And failures.
And New York voted for it. So I'm here for it to watch them get what they voted for.
And failures are
positive
lessons as well.
Absolutely.
But let's face it.
Socialism is going to work this time.
The conservatives, especially the religious conservatives, screwed us hard when they tried forcing intelligent design in biology class, which started this race that the progressives have had for the last 20 years.
I think conservative states are doing very well comparatively.
Yes, they are. They're more fiscally aligned and everything else. They really are.
But you're going to teach one way of thinking. I think it's only right to teach the other.
Not in biology class. That's what the seminary is for. That's what a theology
biology
class
is teaching
for.
you that God doesn't exist.
Biology is just teaching you what is.
They're teaching you God doesn't exist and we're all apes.
Do you think that they come out and say God doesn't, like day one?
In college they do. Some of them have been actually on the news for saying God is dead.
That's fine.
This is it. But what I'm saying is
they were trying to force intelligent design into biology. So we're teaching about the cell and the nucleus and the cytoplasms and whatever else. And then they had to
and Big Bang.
And then they had to stop for a minute and say, okay, now what we have here is we have baby Jesus.
No. They didn't teach baby
That's
Jesus.
what they wanted forced in there. So
this country's education was founded with those teachings, Christianic teachings in school until it wasn't. Biology class, yeah, the Big Bang Theory, we're all cells. We were walking the earth as cavemen, or we were apes, then we were cavemen, and then all of that. And they're telling us this. Meanwhile, you can't say, that doesn't make sense. Why aren't we evolving now?
The religious, Why aren't we revolving now? We are evolving now.
I know. What are we evolving into now? I mean, it's been a few hundred years. Okay,
technically-
2000, and we still look the same.
AI.
No, I'm saying, why aren't we apes now? Why aren't we all bald now with longer fingers? Like, we evolved from apes into us now. For 2,000 plus years, we haven't evolved.
How many millions of years do you think it took from
You tell me.
apes to us?
How many millions, billions of years has this earth been here?
What is it, 6 billion? Something like that.
I'm just
There's a
Bible
lot of
thumping
commas.
conservative.
A lot of commas in there. Also, I'm going to laugh if y'all meet God and he says, yeah, I made you from apes.
Well, all our DNA is like within 2 strands of everything.
Well, yeah.
But it also shows incredibly intelligent divine design.
But I don't think he made us from apes that we see now. It's not like.
I don't think he made us from apes either. I think he created us in his image.
Okay, sure.
Wait till you meet God. I'm not worried about meeting God. It's you that's going to have to worry because you're like, oh my goodness, you're real.
Well, if he's the,
Oh, you're banking on his kindness and his forgiveness?
If he's the God you preach, it'll be a rough time for me.
Jesus.
Now, if I follow,
take Jesus into your heart.
if I
and you
follow
won't be
Thomas
afraid.
Jefferson, not a big deal. He was a deist, so that'd be fine.
Yeah, well, he's dead, so only he knows.
He might. But anyways, that was a sidetrack that got fun. All right. Norma says, we are not the Republic of Misfit Toys. No,
And you say number 1 in the state, separation of church and state. Norma, I love you, but that's not a constitutional law. That in this state, of all states, separation of church and state, my kid has a Mormon church on his high school parking lot. Every high school does.
Well,
it
it's
isn't
not
a
in the
law.
parking lot. It has to be off of the
It is
state-owned
just
land.
enough.
Yes.
Just enough. But I'm saying in this state, that's been argued forever. As far as the Constitution goes, that's not in there.
Actually, it comes from writing, but the First Amendment.
They should not make any law making and mandated a religion. It doesn't say that states can't practice religions.
Respecting the establishment of religion. So what that argument kind of came around. I remember the story. I think it was in Philadelphia. There were 2 Methodist churches, and they were arguing with each other of which church was going to be the most important church in that city, if I remember. And it was Thomas Jefferson that forced that in because he watched their argument of which Methodist church was going to be the important one.
Okay, but he also didn't force it in. What he did is he wrote it in a letter.
Well, that was
discussing the separation of church and state. It's not in writing anywhere.
But okay, so let's do the argument like this. Let's say you believe in intelligent design, because that's your religion. But what if someone who has a modern religion that they believe in, should that be taught as well? Like the Lord Xenu, the galactic Lord, brought all the Thetans here to Earth and killed them in a volcano.
I'm trying to tell you, intelligent design does not discuss Jesus or God. It discusses something other than a big bang, a cell, an evolution into what we are now. They're not going into Christ. They're not talking about Bethlehem. That's not what intelligent design means. It means for the agnostics, for the Muslims, for the Jews who actually believe something other than we were all apes.
You want the biology teacher to teach that it was that humans just appeared.
And are we talking about high school or are we talking about college?
It was high school.
Well, I didn't have that in high school, so I don't know.
No, you didn't have that in high school because it's an argument that started in about 96. Tipper Gore started this argument.
That's hilarious.
I know, it is hilarious.
I don't have a problem with prayer in school either.
The last vestiges of conservative Democrats was Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife.
So the government must remain neutral and not in favor of religion. And he wrote it in letters to the Danbury Baptists.
Yeah, it was.
Government shouldn't interfere with religion nor interfere religion. Now, what happens when you get a government that is founded by a religion? Like Utah.
Well,
The state was founded
mhm.
and created by members of a religion
Mhm.
as a safe haven for that religion.
Mhm.
So what do you do then?
Well,
Because that's where we live.
that religion starts giving up a lot of their rights.
As long as they don't play ball.
Well,
we
they-
have a
they-
religion in this
They
state that
give up a
plays
lot
ball.
of their rights. They give up polygamy. There was an argument in the beginning on whether Brigham Young could be the governor or whether or whether a governor would be assigned prior to statehood. I think they decided to hold an election, and well, guess what happened?
I mean,
but-
it's a different thing with Utah, founded
Mm.
by
There's
pioneers
lots of
and all
places
of
that
that.
were. I mean, Pennsylvania was founded by a religion, by the Quakers.
sure.
You know, there's multiple states have been founded by a religion.
Yeah, but ours is still finding by that religion.
Well, it's still strong in that religion, but that's
Yeah.
because we're young. I mean, the Quakers they made their way there before Pennsylvania,
Right.
before the Revolutionary War. I mean, they
I understand, but it's like the Mormons fought a war to be here and to be the leaders of this state and the founders of this state. They killed a lot of people to be here.
They sure did.
And the thing I'm saying is, you're not going to get away from separation of church and state, but please understand, it is not in the Constitution that you separate. You
But
just
this
don't let the
argument-
government decide what is the official religion of a state.
This argument started because I mentioned the progressives got their stronghold. This is when you watch any of Sam Harris, any of those guys were intelligent people who could walk down both parties in the early 90s, right? When they were doing their their atheist Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse stuff. They were guys that could walk on both sides. But then, lo and behold, this gets worse. It was a Supreme Court case, and Killmeyer versus whatever, right?
I
And
don't know. My eyes are glazing over.
but it wasn't until that all these intellectuals went firmly Democrat, because as this argument went on, the Democrat parties, including Tipper Gore, started dropping off the ballot. We're going to quit arguing for this.
Didn't they go atheist as well?
But they were already atheists,
Right. But I mean, they wanted
Well,
zero
the Democrat
religion.
Party, what happened is the Democrat Party then became the home for atheists, because some people, I may not be a religious person, but I don't see religious people as bad. I don't fear them. I don't think they're wrong. I think a lot of their ideas are great. I think their culture is heavily needed. I do.
I think it's
I'm
the
a firm-
fabric of this nation, whereas Ilhan Omar will say Somalis are the fabric of this nation.
Yeah, they are. But I'm a
Real
firm
quote, by
I'm
the
a
way.
firm believer in that. But what it did for people who see religion as a threat, because a lot of people, when you first become atheist, when you first have that spark in your mind, you kind of become evangelical atheist, which I did at one time too. I'm ashamed that I did. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but it's that I started getting to where I would like to get into religious discussions with religious people so I could poke holes in them. But there's no value in that, because someone's faith is beyond your ability to just poke holes in their faith. It's something they come to on their own, and they will leave on their own, like I did.
Right.
So I'm glad I dropped that. That's all out of the way, and I'm very pro-religion. I want zero taxes on churches. I want none of that. I'm one of those. But what it did is it drove all that intellectual side over to the progressive side, because it was a progressive versus conservative argument at that point. And the Democrats that were conservative got old and aged out. And most of them were wives of elected officials. They dropped off. They got real quiet about 2000, real quiet. And after that, all that was left fighting for it was Republicans, which forced all these intellectuals to drive over. But those intellectuals were also the professors and the deans.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did is those professors and deans started running religious people out of the colleges.
Right.
Right?
And
they started
conservatives.
And then they got to where they would only hire people of their ideological bent, which I think it was a disservice to, it was a backlash. Like I always say, remember.
To the customer, which is the student.
Well, no, it was a backlash to trying to force something into the Supreme Court. No biology teacher who's gone through all that education to become a biology teacher wants to then have to try to bring something that's may not be in their wheelhouse in.
Sure. Well, you also have to understand too, when these same people decided to create the standards that allowed you to get said degree.
Sure,
and
but
those standards were based on their ideologies as well, still are.
Would you be okay with forcing theological teachers to teach evolution, just so that's included in that?
Not in college. I mean, in college, I think college is
in high school,
foster of ideas.
In high school, would you be?
If it's a private high school, a religious high school, I think you still have to teach it.
But would it be included in the theology class?
No, it would be in the biology class.
So why would you include theology in the biology class and not force biology into the theology class?
I think that two subjects can be, one is your faith can be respected.
Mm-hmm.
The scientist doesn't have to go into your faith.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can talk about two theories, which are culturally understood. This, all of you that have this ideology and this belief system understand, I'm going to give you the scientific, what science is saying about the creation of the earth, where it comes from, where you come from, all of that.
I don't think I would want that in the theological class.
But the thing is I'm not a person that believes that you can't have diversity of thought and challenge ideas in theology class or in biology. We should have diverse thought. We also should have arguments, open arguments, and that's how people learn, and that's how they learn to make decisions and all of that.
Sure, but but those open arguments,
theology classes have to be taken in a way for people that want theology. I wouldn't want my child forced to take a theology class, because now let's get into Christianism or Christianity and Muslims and Jews, and then realize the vast Baptists and Catholics and evangelicals, there's such a vast difference alone in religion that I don't, you'd have to want to take the class.
Or just to get out of school for
one class a day. I mean, you'd have to want it.
Until they start reporting whether you slough or not. And then you're like, quit taking that. Norma says, the politics swing too widely. It is possible to be conservative without being LDS. 100%.
Norma, I'm living proof of it. I'm not LDS.
100%. It's possible to be conservative without being religious at all.
Sure.
And it is very possible to be progressive and to be LDS or to be religious. The progressives, when you look at their new theology, closest match is Calvinism in my mind.
Well, you've got a lot of progressives who sit on, like, Catholics. They're Catholics. I mean, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, and many of them claim to be Catholics, and they don't agree necessarily with their church. Again, it's a private thing. And I feel I'm not Mormon, but I feel extremely lucky to live in a state where my neighbors are. I think it's, and it would feel that way if we had a very dominant religion. I think it's
having a dominant
family
culture,
values and the service values and the love one another and the neighbor and all of that I think that church culture brings. I think small towns still have it and foster it.
Well,
and I think it's lost in urban.
well, I think it's homogeneity brings
See?
that.
If I had coins, I'd be chucking them at
Well,
you.
it's when everyone's the same. They have a benchmark their weight against, and their community judges them. Where the Catholics won't so much judge the Methodists across the way. They'll judge the Lutherans, but they're still, kissing cousins. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're keeping your own in line.
Yeah,
Your own
community, because you don't have to
community
have
in line.
laws. You don't have to have written laws to enforce that as easy when it's a cultural thing.
Like Muslims.
Yeah, but when you mix them in,
And-
yeah, Muslims don't settle. They don't deal with thievery. I've seen The Faces of Death. That was horrendous.
The movie?
Yeah,
I
do you
remember it.
that.
Yeah.
That guy got caught stealing bread
I saw it in a theater.
in a theater.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
It
a
was
theater?
crazy.
I saw it underground,
Especially where the puppies.
at a buddy's house. The
People-
monkey one.
Oh, people were getting up and leaving.
Oh,
And I'm like, what the
it was
heck did
awful.
I get myself into?
It was awful. All right, guys. Everyone, have a
We'll
good
see
week.
you next week.
We'll see you next week.
William, Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
Norma, Mom, David,
Yep.
and of course, Jeff. We appreciate all of you guys chiming in today, and thank you for joining us. And I hope that we see you again
Yeah.
next week.
Yep. We'll see you next week. You guys have a good week. Be safe. Be happy. Actually, I should stop saying be safe. We've leaned it too heavy into safety as